Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. In Outliers, Gladwell examines typical success stories to find out why certain people, and sometimes even entire groups of people, thrive and others fail. We look at the relationship between individual talent, opportunity and luck when it comes to outliers. These are people who break the norm and succeed. They're exceptional. The outliers we talk about in the book vary from top-level athletes to successful entrepreneurs. What do they have, what you and I don't? Is it just dumb luck? Is talent really necessary? Or are there more things involved? Let's find out. Today, we will discuss the 5 best ideas from the book. Idea number 1. Timing. Outliers are influenced by the time they live in. Having outstanding skills isn't enough to guarantee success. You have to live in a time when these skills are valued by the world around you. Some people even have a natural advantage simply because they were born during the right time. An example Gladwell shares is how all top IT entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley are born between 1953 and 1956. We also take a look at the more unfortunate few, who were born in the early 1900s. They faced the Great Flu epidemic, the First World War, the Great Depression, and to top it all off, they were still young enough to be drafted for the Second World War. It was almost impossible for this particular generation to stand out and become an outlier. Idea number 2. 10,000 hours. Throughout the book, the 10,000 hour rule gets repeatedly mentioned. And to make things clear, I'm not talking about the Justin Bieber song. But this phrase is quite familiar to most people. This is the amount of time you need to practice a certain skill before you become an expert. It takes deliberate practice, not talent, that makes people world-class in any field. And I'm not saying practice is the only thing needed in order to be outstanding. There are a lot of other factors involved. And today we will discuss a few more of those, so keep watching. And Gladwell states that people nowadays are way too impatient. We are told practice makes perfect. But in the modern world, we're fascinated with speed, ease and youth. Experience is sometimes overlooked. At 40 hours a week, these 10,000 hours translate to roughly 5 years. And that means no holidays. We will use well-known billionaire Bill Gates as an example here. Gates was born into a wealthy family. He went to one of the few schools which offered coding programs. Gates spent hours and hours learning how to code and program in his childhood years. By the time Gates was in college, he had hit the 10,000 hour mark. He was a true expert in the programming field. This later led to the start of Microsoft, now placing 4th on the list of largest companies. The book tells us we can't expect to be good at something right away. This applies to almost everything. As a baby, we needed to learn how to walk. It took deliberate practice and nobody was born with this skill, I assume. The same applies when learning how to swim, ride a bike, or, well, becoming an outlier. Think about the first time you played tennis. You hit the ball and it probably hit the net. So you keep trying over and over again. And after some practice you'll be able to play a game. But what I'm trying to say is, it takes a long time before you'll be good at something. Not 10,000 hours per se. But you really can't expect to become the next Roger Federer overnight. Idea number 3. Cultural background. Outliers argues that cultural background and heritage play a crucial role in determining success. This heritage can be an advantage or disadvantage, and sometimes both at the same time. To give an example, we can look at the rise of Jewish law firms in the early 20th century. This rise had much to do with the discrimination of Jews. They were forced to start their own firms. So, when corporate takeovers became a common practice, the Jewish law firms had a huge advantage. They were experts already, leading to a big head start in a legal profession. Their disadvantage in religious discrimination turns into a significant advantage. The tables have now turned. Another example is how Asian people are stereotyped for having a hard-working mentality. This has much to do with the cultural background, where Asian countries had to farm rice for a living. Tending rice requires a lot of hard work. It needs precision, control, coordination and patience. The success of rice farming strongly depends on the amount of hard work and diligence you put into it. This hardworking lifestyle gets passed down to new generations, simply because culture is not something that goes away. It doesn't magically vanish. This rice farming background created a cultural legacy of hard work among Asian families. So yes, where you're born truly matters. Idea number 4. Upbringing. And with the word where, we not only mean the country where you're born, it also includes the family you're born into. The book states that involved parents are the key to success. I get that may sound a bit weird, but hear me out. Sociologist Annette Leroux discovered that involved parents versus non-involved parents makes a crucial difference in an individual's success in life. Involved parents have a better communication with their kids and often provide more opportunities for them, like taking them to a museum, helping with homework, or learning them a sport. Leroux calls this parenting style concerted cultivation. It's an attempt to actively encourage and assess a child's talents, opinions, and skills. These kids automatically develop a sense of entitlement. Although the word has a negative undertone, Leroux means it in the best sense of the term. The kids act as though they have a right to pursue their individual preferences and do what they personally like. They are less likely to settle with no. The sense of entitlement these kids have been taught is a perfect attitude suited to succeed in the modern world. Last, but certainly not least, idea number 5. Meaningful work. When feeling like there's purpose to our work, we're more likely to work hard and put in the hours necessary to become outstanding. Sociologist Louise Farkas studied the family trees of many immigrants. She found that the offsprings, or the new generations of these families, often became professionals and got high-paying jobs. She put it down to the fact that it was because of their humble origins. They have been raised in a family where hard work was valued and practiced. These values are often unconsciously handed down from generation to generation. This was also the case with the Jewish law firms we discussed earlier. We can see how the first 2 generations practiced the same professions, where after the 3rd generation became professionals in high-maintenance jobs, like lawyers in this case. To round off, we can conclude that becoming an outlier isn't set aside for everyone. It doesn't only take talent or hard work. According to the book, success is a mix of multiple crucial factors. Today, we discussed 5 of them. Where you're born, how much practice you put into something, your cultural heritage, your upbringing or how you were raised, and if you find purpose in your work. I'm very curious to see what your favorite principle is and if you agree with everything Gladwell writes. Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Please press that like button if you enjoyed this video, and check my channel to see more book analysis and other videos just like this. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to be alert for new videos. See you next time, guys.